Hello, my name's Katie Rushworth and today I'm going to show you how to transform your patio. Now this is quite a recent addition to this garden. It's been put down in the summertime and it's now autumn. So there are things we can kind of do and prep for when it comes to next spring. One of the first things I want to tackle is this back fence. Now it's not very exciting and boundaries are a great opportunity to use your vertical height in the garden and cover them with more plants. The first thing I want to do is give it a good paint. Now I've chosen this lovely pale grey. It's a great foil for foliage, and deep burgundy colours and blue flowers will look fabulous against it. This colour is also used a lot in the house, so it's a great way to link the interior with your garden, is to kind of think of the colours you've used inside and marry them up with what's outside. It will create this nice transition from one space to another. Mirrors are incredibly useful in small spaces like this because they will reflect what greenery you have in the garden right back at you. For example, the people sat on the other side of this pergola looking towards the wall will have the beautiful tree reflected in this mirror, instantly making this wall feel greener than it actually is. And once I've dressed around it with pots and things, it's going to look fabulous. I think this section is pretty much there now and it's looking pretty splendid. I've surrounded the seating with some seasonal pots. I've got some beautiful miscanthus grass in, which is stunning. We've got some flowering jasmine at the back, which is really scented, so it should really envelop you on a warm summer's evening in scent. There's lots of evergreens as well, quite low maintenance pots as long as you keep watering them and feeding them. This mirror really kind of adds more greenery to the space and how it reflects that tree over there, and it makes a lovely focal point too. Now I've just got to transform this bit of fence. Now that my fence is painted, I'm really pleased with it. It makes such a difference and it's such an easy thing to do. You do not have to have green fingers in order to be able to paint a fence, and it really does make such a difference. It really lifts this whole area. Now I want to grow climbers up here. In order to do that, they need things to fasten themselves to. So I'm putting up some wires, some galvanized steel wires across here. So as the new growth comes up, I can fasten it to the wire. I've pre-drilled some holes just a foot or 30 centimeters apart, and I'm using these vine eyes here just to screw in, and they're gonna be solid into the timber so I can fasten my wire across. And there we have it, a little fiddly but really worth the time and effort you put in now in order to be able to give those climbers as much surface area as possible. They really need something to hang on to, and then you'll get a great coverage all along the wall. Now to plant my climbers. Now when planting clematis, which this is, or clematis, whatever you want to call it, tomato, tomato, it doesn't make any difference I suppose. It's really important to plant it deeper than it was in the pot. It's one of the only things you do it with, but clematis really likes to be planted a little bit deeper. So I'm going to plant this up to 1 inch higher than it is in his existing container. Now clematis have these wonderful winding leaves, and they're much easier to train around things than many other climbers because they will naturally find their way around. You do have to fasten anything in. It's really important you do it with a soft string and tie using a figure of 8. So I'll tie around the wire, twist, you can tie it like so, and then tie to the stem. And what that does is it creates a natural buffer between the stem and the wire. You don't want the stem and the wire rubbing together because that will create a wound, pests and diseases can get in there. So that little figure of 8 will just kind of, yeah, be a little bumper, if you like, in order to stop any damage happening to the stem. The next climber I've got to go in is a honeysuckle. Honeysuckles are perfect for a seating area, again because they release this amazing fragrance during the summertime. They also have semi-evergreen leaves, so they will lose some, but otherwise you still get interest over the winter months, which is great. Now I am going to leave these canes in for the time being, just until the plant has settled and managed to climb up a little bit more and fasten itself and wind its way around some of these new wires. But once it has done that, I will remove them. Now, last but not least, I'm going to plant some wallflowers all along here for a couple of reasons. One, I want lots of ground cover because that will reduce the weeds, which is always a win. And secondly, clematis really like their roots to be in the shade, so planting around them in front of them will kind of cast some nice shade and give you a much healthier, happier clematis. And there we have it. What was a dreary, dull wall this morning has been transformed with a lick of paint, a few plants and some wire. So a really easy, cost-saving thing to do. And within 1 year, this will be absolutely covered in foliage and flower. I'm really pleased. For more how-to videos, visit silverlinetools.com.